Hey, appreciate you spending some time with us on the show. Yesterday, we talked about the crime reduction plan in Phoenix. Seems to be working with a reduction in the amount of homicides and property crimes in the city of Phoenix. We also know that on Friday, a Phoenix police officer working an off-duty detail was shot in the line of duty trying to stop a robbery. 3 people have been arrested. Joining us for an update on all of these things is the police chief in the city of Phoenix, Chief Sullivan. Chief, welcome back to the show.
Hey, thanks, Mike. Good talking to you this morning.
Let's, if you don't mind, I would like to start with the update on the officer. It was, I reposted the video from Phoenix PD of the officer being released from the hospital and the outpouring of support from his comrades and the community. Can you give us an update on the officer and an update on the arrest in this case?
Certainly. The officer's at home resting. He's surrounded by his family, and his blue family of the Phoenix Police Department is there to support him and his family with any of the needs that they have right now. We're just really, really blessed that it turned out the way it did. Just an incredibly unfortunate situation. Our officer, trying to interrupt a robbery, runs towards danger. It's something that you hear over and over in this profession, people willing to put themselves in harm's way to keep people safe.
Yeah, it is just a stark example and a shocking example of how quickly that job becomes so dangerous. The suspects who were arrested, 1 adult, 2 juveniles. Can you give us any kind of an update on the suspects who were arrested, ages or names, or any update on the suspects?
I don't have any of that specific. We have an investigation that's ongoing with this. All teens is what I can tell you. And the men and women of the Phoenix Police Department have worked tirelessly with our other law enforcement partners to be able to put this together and be able to hold folks accountable. I said the next day that we were going to work tirelessly and find these folks and make sure that they're held to account for their actions to the full extent of the law, and that's what we're going to do.
Do you have any idea if all of the suspects have been arrested or other arrests might happen?
This investigation is still ongoing.
Okay.
We have 3 people in custody right now. Certainly, if information leads us to other folks, we'll hold them accountable as well.
All right, Chief, let me ask you, if you don't mind, ABC 15 story yesterday talked about the reduction in crime in the city of Phoenix, and your spokespeople talked about the crime reduction plan and the focus on repeat offenders and violent offenders. Do you attribute this drop in crime to those specific things in your crime reduction plan?
I attribute it to the hard work of the men and women of the Phoenix Police Department and the willingness of community to engage us and make sure that they provide information to help us close crimes. Our effectiveness as a police organization is incumbent on the community coming forward and providing information, and then detectives and officers doing just the incredible work they do every single day.
Does this not, though, it does talk about this, I would say, the science of policing, and obviously as a civilian, I'm looking from the outside looking in, but the specifics of where crimes are happening and times of day that they're happening and going after repeat offenders and sending a clear message to people that if you're going to commit crimes in Phoenix, we're going to find you. That message seems to be working, and it seems like you are seeing a reduction because you're laser focused on the right people.
And it's collaboration not only with the community, it's with our other law enforcement partners, our prosecution partners, to make sure that we do everything we can to make sure we are holding folks accountable, and the men and women are doing a great job right now.
There was a story this morning that former police officer, now City of Phoenix Councilman Robinson, met with the DOJ regarding the investigation and that the report might be dropping soon. Do you have any information on that?
I'm waiting every day like everybody else is, but I don't have any specific information about when that might occur.
Phoenix Police Chief Michael Sullivan is joining us. I want to ask about, there's been a lot of talk about security for our major events, and I know that Phoenix is hosting the Fan Fest for the Final Four, and that public safety is always a big issue. What can people that are in downtown Phoenix for the free concerts and Fan Fest expect as far as public safety goes this weekend?
They can expect the same professional service that we did last year during the Super Bowl. This city knows how to put on big events, and we're doing it once again here this week, and we're excited. We've been working for a year up to this, and it's not just the police department. It's every city agency that's involved in this process, and our other law enforcement partners. So we definitely have been working closely with the host committee and the NCAA to make sure we put on another first-class event here in Phoenix.
And lastly, Chief, I wish I had reached out to you earlier. We all watched in horror as the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapsed in Baltimore, but I know you have a special connection being the chief there. The public safety aspect of this, that was a big main route for egress if there was an emergency in the city. Can you give us a perspective of what you saw there and what this means for public safety in that city?
Yeah, that was an incredible event. My wife actually worked at a trauma hospital there and was still on their emergency alert system, and came up at 1:30 in the morning and told me that the bridge had fallen. It was shocking to hear. But, that's a main corridor for the I-95 corridor, that bridge, to get people around, and then a major port. So it's devastating to the area. I've talked to some folks here just this morning back in Baltimore, and how it's causing challenges with traffic. But then the economic impact, not just to the Baltimore area, but the entire East Coast. Just a major port. It's a place where there's a lot of commerce that goes on. So it's going to take a long time for them to be able to recover from this.
How does the city respond? Because obviously every place has an emergency plan in case of a natural disaster or something else that happens to get people out of the city. How do they now navigate that with such a major artery for people to get in and out of that city? How do they revamp that plan and keep the city, safe, so to speak?
Yeah, there's a number of arteries, but those arteries are full. There's a couple of tunnels in Baltimore, and then pushing folks to other interstates, the 895 and 695. Going westbound, it's tripled commute times, which creates a challenge in that area. But like anything else, we just have good communication with all the community partners that are there. You have the Baltimore Police Department. You also have the Maryland Transportation Authority and other state agencies that are out there, and just the coordination that has to go on to make sure that you account for losing this major thoroughfare.
Chief Sullivan, I always appreciate your willingness to come on and talk to our audience, and especially on these big issues that have happened this week here in the city of Phoenix, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.
Great talking to you, Mike. Take care.
All right, that is Chief Sullivan, Phoenix Police Department, with an update on the officer who was injured, the suspects that were arrested, a little talk about the DOJ, which we'll get into a little bit later in the show, and the implications of all of that.
Thanks for watching The Mike Broomhead Show. Tap to watch the first season of Amazing Arizonans, a KTAR News podcast. You can also click the button in the middle to subscribe.